Howdy! This is Part 101, Lesson 6, and I'm Dave Hook. This lesson deals with 14 CFR Part 101, Subpart E, the special rule for model aircraft. Specifically, we'll look at paragraph E, notifying airport operators and air traffic control towers when flying within 5 miles of an airport. Having been teaching drones for a while now, I get asked if we really have to notify airports when flying within 5 miles. The answer is yes. We must contact any airports, and that means heliports and seaplane bases too, and air traffic control towers within 5 miles of where we propose to fly. If we don't, then we're no longer flying under the special rule for model aircraft. The first point of confusion I've run into with this requirement is that the 5 miles we're talking about are statute miles, not nautical miles. A nautical mile is longer than a statute mile. Here's the distance in feet for 5 nautical miles and 5 statute miles. The difference is nearly 4,000 feet. That's a little over 3/4 of a mile. In this photo, that's the difference between where we took the picture and the next ridgeline closer. Do you really want to give up that distance because you don't know better? So remember, it's 5 statute miles. The most common method of describing where we're going to fly is by giving geographic coordinates, latitude and longitude. Here's a brief review of geographic coordinates. Latitude is an angle formed by the equator, the center of the Earth, and the location of interest. Latitudes in the northern hemisphere are given from 0 to 90 degrees north. In the southern hemisphere, it's from 0 to 90 degrees south. Longitude is also an angle, but this time we use the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, England, as our zero line, like the equator. This line is called the prime meridian and passes from the North Pole to the South Pole through Greenwich. Angles are measured from 0 to 180 degrees west and 0 to 180 degrees east. Where the 180 degree east and west lines meet, it's generally the international date line. Because geographic coordinates use angles, we describe locations in terms of degrees, minutes, and seconds. 1 degree can be broken down into 60 minutes of angle, and 1 minute can be broken down further into 60 seconds of angle. Some coordinates are extremely accurate and are given in hundredths of a second. 1/100th of a second of latitude is approximately 1 foot. The place where this lesson is being written is located at 29 degrees, 20 minutes, 26.74 seconds north latitude by 98 degrees, 22 minutes, 15.89 seconds west longitude, give or take a foot. Now let's talk about where to plot that position on an aeronautical chart. Within the United States, there are 3 types of visual aeronautical charts: a World Aeronautical Chart, or WAC, a sectional chart, and a terminal area chart, also called a TAC. As you can see by the headings here, a WAC chart has a scale of 1 to 1 million. In other words, 1 inch across the chart equals 1 million inches. A sectional chart has a scale of 1 to 500,000, and the TAC chart is 1 to 250,000. We typically use a sectional chart for flying planning because it covers the entire United States at the highest scale. TAC charts are available for only the very busiest commercial airports and their surrounding areas. A chart legend provides important information on how cartographers use symbols to depict map features. Here's the legend for airports. Airports are depicted by circles. Some are open and some show runways within them. Anchor symbols identify seaplane bases, and circles with H's in them depict heliports. Blue-colored airport symbols identify locations with air traffic control towers. Magenta-colored airport symbols depict airports that do not have operating air traffic control towers. To be clear, the FAA defines an airport as an area of land or water that is used or intended to be used for the landing and takeoff of aircraft, and include its buildings and facilities, if any. On an aeronautical chart, black lines and numbers depict geographic coordinates. This chart shows 1 degree of latitude from 28 to 29 degrees. In the same way, the chart shows 1 degree of longitude from 98 to 99 degrees. On a sectional chart, coordinates are given down to 60 minutes. Each individual hash mark on the vertical black line shown here represents 1 minute of latitude. Degrees and minutes of longitude are depicted the same way. To get measurements down to seconds, we must interpolate between the 1 minute hash marks. Here's an example. Let's determine the geographic coordinates of the Live Oak County Airport. Drawing a line perpendicular to the lines of latitude going straight through Live Oak County Airport, we see that it's above the 28-degree latitude line. Counting the hash marks up to the red line, we get 21 minutes and a little bit more. We'll call it 45 seconds. Doing the same for longitude, we get 98 degrees, 6 minutes, and roughly 1/2 a minute, so we'll call it 30 seconds. Now let's put these geographic coordinates to use. There's a place where you want to fly your model aircraft for fun. It's a few miles south of George West, Texas. Here are the geographic coordinates. We plot those coordinates and get 2 intersecting lines south of the Live Oak County Airport. Now it's time to measure the distance to see if we'll be within 5 miles and need to contact the airport manager before flying. At the bottom of the chart is a scale for measuring distances. Make sure to use the statute mile scale. Measuring the distance from the center of the airport circle to the location, we get 4 statute miles. Remember, the distance isn't measured from where you intend to take off and land, but from the closest point where you intend to fly. So how do we contact the airport manager? We look it up in the U.S. Chart Supplement. In this case, we'll go to Section 2, the Airport and Facility Directory. Within Section 2, we go to the section for Texas. Airports are listed by their nearest city or town. But what about this situation when the airport name says it's a county airport? Look it up under the airport name to begin with. Here it tells us that the Live Oak County Airport in Texas is listed under George West on page 290. So going to page 290, we find listed under the city of George West, our airport. And scanning down the listing, we find that the contact telephone number for the airport manager is 361-499-2733. Since this airport does not have an air traffic control tower, we need speak only to the airport manager. Here's the information most commonly asked for by airport managers concerning flying model aircraft within 5 miles of their airport. Your name and contact telephone number, the location where you intend to fly, the day and times you intend to fly, what kinds of model aircraft you intend to fly, and how high you intend to fly. Can an airport operator or manager object to model aircraft flying near the airport? The answer is yes, they can object. However, they cannot prohibit or prevent the flight. But my advice here is simple. Be respectful and inquire as to why they object and see if there isn't a way to work something out that's mutually beneficial. For more information, go to the FAA's Unmanned Aircraft System Frequently Asked Questions sheet listed here as a source. As for the aeronautical charts and chart supplements, don't worry. Here are sites where you can download them for free. Our next lesson gets into the requirement for us to fly responsibly and protect the U.S. national airspace. That's it for now. This is Dave saying cheers from the Alamo. Over and out.